Hey, welcome to Old Ass Movie Reviews. I'm Scott. There's Dave next to me on one of my sides. There we go. And today's review is 1960's City of the Dead, starring Christopher Lee. A smaller role for him, but an important one at that. This was supposed to be a bad movie, but I actually turned out I kind of liked it. And the premise of this movie is a young college student wants to do really good on her final or whatever, so she's going to write a paper on witchcraft in Massachusetts in the 1600s. And her professor knows of a town and says, hey, go there. I know this great place where this stuff actually happened, that he was teaching them. And she goes. All right, spoilers abound. She gets sacrificed real quick.
Always spoilers.
I saw the beginning of this movie is incredibly predictable, and then that stopped, and I was like, okay, surprise me now.
That her death actually surprised me. That was one that I did not see.
Well, I thought the movie was about over. It's like, well, damn, that was a fast one.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell just happened? I didn't realize they were going to go after, like, have anything after that. I was like, wait a minute. Because
no, the real movie starts after she's killed.
Trying to think, because when Christopher Lee's given the story, he's talking about the story of the witch being burned, the main witch, and for
and you find out by watching this witch and her partner are still alive. They're immortal in this town, and the townspeople are still there. And at first, when I was watching the beginning of this, it starts off with I can't remember her first name. But the witch,
Patricia Jessel was the actress, and the character's name was Elizabeth Selwyn.
Elizabeth Selwyn was being burned at the stake, and I thought the camera work was very odd and unsettling in this scene, because it was zooming in on people real close and angles and stuff, but they kept going in on people, and it wasn't till near the end of the movie that I realized those were the same people walking around the town square at night. Yeah, from 300 years later, they're still there in this town, and the witches have received immortality by doing two sacrifices, one on Candlemas Eve, and then whenever the witches' Sabbath is, that they were going to do it. And
I think they just made that one up because that one didn't sound familiar to me.
The townspeople were actually dead, but they were cursed to stay in that town as dead. And the witches could only keep their immortality if they did a sacrifice. So, of course, we've got the first one out of the way, and the other one gets set up as Nan, the main character, who, well, we thought was the main character at the beginning. Right. Her brother goes looking for her, and you find out that the professor actually was born and raised in that town. But he's more than that. He's also an immortal, because we see his gravestone.
Yeah.
That was a nice twist.
Yeah, that was a good twist.
I don't think this is Christopher Lee's best. It's serviceable. I don't. Yeah. It
looked like one of his early roles, because he looked really
young. He's very young in this,
like,
yes. Yeah.
And I know that he was in World War II, and I think he was special operations, and I don't remember what military. I want to say he was with the Hungarians. I could be wrong. I don't remember exactly what military he was with, but he was on the Allied side, whatever military he was with, but he was like special forces version of whatever it was. So I'm not sure how old he was after the war, but he looked really young in this.
He's very young in this, and it is a small part. They probably honestly shot him in 2 days because he's really not in it much. But that was, he was obviously enough of a name to be on the front of the poster. So
there was one thing, well, two things that I thought was pretty interesting that I found reading up on trivia on this, because I didn't take notes. I decided to read about the movie this time.
Good, because I didn't. I have notes.
It was originally a screenplay written for Boris Karloff to do a television series.
I could see that.
And for whatever reason, Boris Karloff didn't do it. I don't know if maybe he passed. Well, I think he died in the 70s. So for whatever reason, he didn't do it, and the series never got made. But knowing that, watching the movie, I was like, yeah, okay, I see that. I see exactly what this was. It was literally made for television.
Yeah, I was watching this thinking that
television. Yeah,
right. I was looking at it thinking, hey, this could be a great series.
Yeah,
there's a lot of story here.
I only have one problem, one big problem.
Okay.
And my biggest problem is the fact that these so-called witches, in finger quotations, weren't witches at all. They were basically devil worshippers.
Yeah.
And the problem is, with so many movies and so much miscommunication that's happened over the years, people are like, oh, they're a witch, so they're a devil worshiper. No, that's not. I've known a lot of witches. I still know some witches, and that is not.
No, it's not even close.
Yeah. If you see a witch walking around with an upside down cross or frickin' pentagram that's pointed down, they're not a real witch. They're a little punk looking for attention. Don't just ignore them. They're not a witch. They're a goth chick or a goth guy trying to get attention. Don't give it to them. They're just not a witch. That was my biggest problem with this. Yeah, but that was always the thing back in the 60s.
Well, and all the way through the 80s. Remember the great satanic panic of the 70s and 80s? Oh my God.
Every time somebody gets murdered, it's like, oh, it's satanic. Well, yeah, it is kind of, but it's not what you think it is.
Technically, yeah.
Sure. Technically, yeah. I mean, anytime you brutalize somebody, that's pretty satanic stuff.
Yeah.
But that's the thing that really always gets me. I see these movies and I'm like, oh, they're not a witch. They're a freaking devil worshiper. It's completely different. Two completely different things.
It is, and they lump all of that in. And no, I'm with you on that, and that is problematic. But that is that time period. It's like, well, holy shit, here we go. It's just like all the movies in the 80s and stuff like that.
Right.
Now, this is what got me. The fucking gas station. That is such a horror movie trope. There's always going to be some creepy old guy. Was this the first time this fucking happened? Did we just see the origin of the gas station trope? Nobody goes there.
It may have been, because that's exactly what I was laughing about. And another thing, did you notice? Nobody got gas.
Nobody got gas. And
nobody actually got gasoline.
In the back half of the movie, there's like 3 people that stop at that gas station in succession. It's like, what the fuck?
It was funny. At the last time the last car drives away, the one girl's boyfriend drives away, you can see him standing there looking at the car like, no gas?
Yeah. He keeps coming out, no gas. But it's like, was this the beginning of the gas station trope? It's like, oh my God.
I think they missed something on that gas station attendant, because he had this big scarf like around his neck.
Yeah.
I looked at Kat and I said, there's a gun on the mantle right there. He's got this big thing around his neck. I bet you're going to find out that, he was hung or something, and he's, a ghost or a spirit. And they never did anything. He just always had the thing around his neck. I'm like, that's the last time we're going to see him? What's with the scarf around the neck? What are you hiding?
This would be better as a mini series or a actual series, because again, we've hit a movie that is missing giant chunks of story that are there. We've got the young girl who's working at the inn, Lottie. You have the priest, the blind priest, who there's a great story there.
There's a lot of story with him.
Oh my God, yes, because he was been there, and you have all the townspeople. You have all the time from the 1600s up to show what's going on. I would love to see this redone. Now, I don't know if you caught the similarities to Dagon watching this I did.
I saw some of them.
I was like, oh, fuck, it's Dagon.
I just want to know where all that goddamn fog was coming from.
I don't know.
I've driven in some fog. I mean, where we live, when it gets foggy.
But this fog was only 2 foot off the ground. It just stayed on the ground.
High enough on the car, to cover the windshield, and you couldn't see shit. And it's like, and she's walking around the town, and the fog is about chest high, like you said.
Yeah.
And it's night. And it's like, well, it's not nighttime. It's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
I know.
The fog is all on the ground. It's not up in the air.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is clearly filmed on a soundstage.
Yeah.
And it shows. Mm-hmm. But that being said, it was a pretty decent set. Pretty cool.
Yeah. It was a nice set. They did have
it was a
set
nice set, and I would so love to see this redone.
You know what? I go back. I did not see that main character. What was her name? Anna? Is that right? Nan. I didn't see her getting off so quickly.
I didn't either. That surprised me. I mean, I figured it was going to happen, but it's like
I wasn't sure if it was going to happen. I'll be honest with you. I mean, they had me for a moment like, oh, okay, they're not going to kill her off, and then they're dragging her into the room. And I'm like, okay, somebody's going to come in and save her at the last second, but I don't know who.
Yeah.
And then the knife is up and you see it go down, and then they're cutting the cake. And I'm like, oh, fuck, they just killed the main character.
Yeah, I like that.
Where are they going now?
And again, like you, I'm thinking these are not witches.
Right. Exactly. Witches don't do that. They never have. I'm sorry.
No.
I will argue with anybody who says so.
But I had one turn me into a newt once.
Just once.
I got better.
I got better. Yeah.
I got better.
That's a carrot on her nose. She's a witch. She's a witch.
Burn her.
Burn her. A little bit of Monty Python, Holy Grail for you folks.
Yeah, but and so we can even back it up that they were so misguided in the witchcraft satanic thing that even while she's burning, she's praying to Lord Lucifer, and it's like witch.
They don't do that.
That's the stereotype. Don't. That is what the townspeople believed.
Yeah.
That's what people today believe, but it's not accurate. And
it's never been accurate.
If that would come out today, I would be fucking livid. I'm going to give 1960 a pass.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, that's what I just wanted to point that out. Like, no, this was the only real problem I had with it. And saying what I said after that, you're like, okay, it turns out to be a pretty good movie. It's not a bad movie. I'm sorry. I tried for a bad one. It's got the bones for a good movie. It really does. I mean, there was a lot wrong with it, but the bones were there. The basic plot was there. I like the thought of the immortals and the witches.
It is actually really cool.
I just think I think if it was going to be written now, I would rewrite the ending a little bit.
The ending definitely does, because I'm sorry. I'm going to hold up the shadow of the cross, and you're going to burst into flames like vampires. What?
Yeah, well, the thing is, there's like a thing shooting out of the cross that the guy had.
I didn't see that.
Did you not catch that? Like, he was holding the cross. The first guy, I mean, it literally just shoots right out of the cross and hits him.
I missed that. I just saw him go up into flames.
And I'm like, holy crap. And Nick Chet kept doing that. And I'm like, this guy's burning the shit out of people. Yeah. Good for you.
The guy who was in a car wreck and had a knife in his back.
And a knife in his back is the guy who's saving everybody. I'm like, why didn't anybody just run over to him and kick him?
Yeah.
You had 20 freaking devil worshippers there. One of them could have just ran over and kicked. Maybe hit the knife deeper. I don't know. She was a damn good shot with that knife. She had to be 30 feet away.
She's had hundreds of years to practice.
Good. Yeah. You're right. I was getting picky, but you're right.
But one of the things is
she did own it in.
Yeah. One of the things I like is they took the character that I did not like and made him the hero.
Yeah.
Because I thought the boyfriend was a douchebag.
Yeah.
But in the end, he had his moment. So nice little arc there.
He did turn out to be the good guy. I just want to know how, and I'm sure it's happened, but the car that he was driving was a Buick. Probably 59, 1960 Buick.
That's not the one that was crashed.
Yeah, it was a big ass car that he was driving. And when he crashed it, not only did it flip over after smashing into a very small tree that even my Jeep would go over.
And of course was on fire.
But it was laying on its side catching on fire. And I'm like, how? What? Is it magic? I don't understand. And he's the only car that saw the witch being burned at the stake, and that's what made him crash.
Yeah.
How did they know? They let everybody else by. Why not him?
I know. I do like that, though. I like that idea when Nan was going and one of the old witches, he's waiting on the side of the road.
Why would you let him in the car? Even back in 1960, I'm sorry, single blonde little hottie, letting a total stranger in a very dark road that's supposed to be in the middle of the day, on a foggy day, night, whatever. Oh. No, not letting you in the car, old man. You're going to have to walk. Didn't get nervous even whenever he got out of the car.
Yeah, like disappeared.
Getting out of the car. He just disappeared. And it's like,
he just was gone.
She just hums it like, huh. finger to the chin, tap, tap, tap. I guess this is just a special little town.
Yeah. So
I would have set my ringers off. My spidey sense would have been tingling.
Yeah. So it was a decent watch. It was a decent watch.
You know what? Like I said, we've seen a lot worse, and I'm really kind of ticked off at you because I really thought you were onto a winner.
I was too, dude. 20 minutes in, I text you. I'm like, fuck. Yeah, I found a good one.
Yeah, I was like, damn it, I want a crappy one. So I'm still looking for a crappy one. I think I may have found one. I told you the name, but I don't want to give it away yet because I'm still going to look around. I want a really garbage movie that I can just tear apart. I can't really tear this one apart. Christopher Lee played a good villain.
He did.
I really was halfway expecting him early on. That's kind of who I thought might show up whenever they were going to sacrifice her.
Yeah.
And he does, but not in the way that I thought he was going to show up. I thought he was going to come up and save her like at the last minute, like, oh, no, I'm the good guy, actually. Ha-ha, fooled you. And then he's not. It's like, wait a minute, I know you're playing vampires and shit in the future, but right now you should be the good guy. Aren't you supposed to be saving people? Nope, not him. He always played like the
he plays it well. Like I said, it was just you know, I don't know why I expected more.
Well,
I think he needed a bigger role.
And I think it comes down to it was written for television. It was a pilot.
That's really showing that.
You had television writers writing this. And at the time, back in the day, I think there may have been a huge difference between the level of writing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
But this is obvious for television, and it suffers because it was made for television originally, or written for television. Because if you're writing for something for television, you know you're going to have lots of episodes to be able to flesh things out.
Yeah.
So they've had to take all of that and just jam it in, and I don't think it worked very well because it left you wanting to know more.
And if you're trying to fill Boris Karloff's shoes in I almost said situation comedy, but it's not.
It could have been. It very well could have been.
Serious movie. Yeah, it could have been. It could have been very.
Could have been a great comedy. Yeah.
I can see even Christopher Lee. I mean, they must have looked around and went, "Who's the best guy for this job? We can't get Karloff for whatever reason."
Christopher Lee was well cast. As I see him as a professor, that role was perfect. And then just evil guy.
Here's a funny thing that all the actors were British.
Were they?
And and they all spoke.
That's right.
American
I noticed
accent.
in the credits it was with a British film company as well. So
yeah. And the funny thing is, they made them speak with the British people speak with American accents. The blonde-haired lady Nan and the lady, the girl at the inn, not the inn, but the bookseller,
the preacher's
granddaughter, the preacher's daughter.
Yeah, or granddaughter. Yeah.
Betty St. John was her name. Patricia Russell was the character's name.
Yeah.
Patricia or Patty, whatever they called her, spoke really well. Like they really hid their British accents really well. I was actually intrigued. The boyfriend of Nan, I thought initially what might have been Norwegian or something, because he almost sounded like he had a Norwegian accent with an American accent over it, like he was trying to American accent it. That's what it sounded like, and I knew there was something wrong. And the old lady was like, "I hate how that guy's talking." She said, "It's just not right." And then as I was reading a little bit,
maybe that's why I didn't like him.
Oh, okay, that's why. I'm sure that was.
That could be because if something doesn't sound natural, yeah.
Yeah, and I just thought most of them sounded okay. I mean, an American accent must be really hard to do. I mean, I imagine if I do a British accent, some British people will go, that's horrible. Dick Van Dyke, what is wrong with you?
I've taken a few dialect classes to learn about the different accents and attempt that. And as an actor, the general rule is you never say you can do one unless you are fluent and incredibly passable, because our ears hear a fake fucking accent a mile away.
Yeah. You might not be able to put your finger on it, but there's
something's off. And when you have somebody fake a Southern accent, like we see living here in the South, it is so fucking obvious and it's so painful.
Right. So, like when I do Skeeter, it's obvious. It's obvious that I'm not doing a real Southern, although I have known people who speak just like Skeeter.
I don't know what you're talking about, Skeeter.
Donny Jones. Well, what's funny is to talk about the accents a little bit and fooling people. My old lady actually showed some of her friends the stuff that we did, and they're just looking at her like, that's your husband? She's like, he doesn't really sound like that. And they're like, really? She's like, yeah, really. He doesn't really sound like that. That's not how he talks.
No, not at all.
And I thought that was funny. So I'm doing something right, evidently.
Oh,
but accents. The two girls did really good accents. The two main villains, the Selwyn and her cohort.
I can't think of his name, but yeah.
You could definitely hear the British accent coming through. I mean, there was just no hiding it, but they did it really well. It was very, very well done because it just fit those characters. Well, wherever their accent fit perfectly.
With those two, I didn't think much of it because they were in New England in the 1600s. They very well probably had a British accent. Most of the colonies spoke with a British accent. Most of them were Brits.
You probably weren't going, wicked cool, eh? Like they do in Boston. That's wicked.
Yeah. I know, and park the car.
Park the car in the parking lot. What?
Yeah.
We're gonna get hate mail from somebody from Boston. Tell me we're not right though. I mean, I've talked to people from Boston when I lived up in Jersey. They come over and Jersey, you don't know how to talk right. It's like, wait, what? I don't understand what you're saying.
I hear it all the time. People tell me I talk funny, but okay.
Yeah, you talk awfully funny, boy.
You talk funny.
Yeah. I've learned to slow down since I've been in South Florida.
Taking it a little easier. So, your final thoughts on City of the Dead?
I like it. Take it for what it is. If you are a follower of Wicca, just say no.
You're going to be offended.
It's not going to be for you. Just be offended that they didn't get it right.
Of course, not shocking.
For the Satan worshiping, aspect that these guys are bad guys. And I like this movie because they all get their comeuppance.
They do.
The bad guys get their comeuppance. I mean, well deserved after way too long, really. I mean,
hundreds of years.
Yeah. Way too long, but they get it. They get burned, baby. They get burned.
Literally.
Yeah.
And I'm going to agree. It's definitely worth a watch. One of the things about it is, and I have no idea where my train of thought went, but it just derailed. But one of the things about it is they do get their comeuppance. Yeah, I mean that is good that's shown in there. So and take it for what it is. It's obvious that it could have been. I think there's a lot of missing stuff to me. I think there could have been more story. I wanted to know more, but you only have an hour and a half. I like it. It is very reminiscent of a lot of movies that have dealt with this same type of subject, whether it be any type of cult and sacrifices. I've seen so many that follow the same formula, but this one seemed kind of interesting, and I dig it.
Yeah. I would like to know if the trope of the guy at the gas station started.
Was this the first?
We've watched a few movies where like this never happened until this movie, and I can't remember what we were talking about at one time, but we're like
Tucker and Dale's a good one.
Tucker and Dale's a good one, but like this is the first time you would see this particular thing in a movie, and I think a lot of it I think was Spider Baby. We were like, oh well, we see where this came from. We see where this came from. All these things that are happening so much in horror movies now, you can pick out and go to Spider Baby and go, that's where they probably got it from. How that movie ever got made?
I love Spider Baby, but
it's so good. Speaking of good, it's bad, or bad, it's good. I'm not sure.
Speaking of the tropes, though, I mean, there's been several that make fun of it and actually bring light to it.
Right.
Of course, you have your Scary Movie with the Wayans, the Scary Movie 1 and 2 that the Wayans brothers did, that poke fun at all the horror tropes. But the Scream franchise, Wes Craven's Scream, really just shines a light right in all the little stupid tropes of the black guy's the first to die, and whoever says I'll be right back is never back, and
they never come back.
It's all of it, and they really play it up. And my understanding is the new Scream movie really does it again, showing more stuff with
Right.
more current.
I just want to know why white people always want to go into the darkest room with a flashlight, that the batteries are never working and they're always like hitting the bottom of the battery. Like,
it's a calling. It's deep within my DNA. I have to do it. I'm sorry. I am that person who will go down that basement. It is me. It is me.
And I'm the guy at the top of the stairs going, yeah, keep going. I'll be up here waiting. And
I am also probably
at the top of the stairs right behind me. I'm up here where I'm safe.
Yeah. I'm also probably the dumb shit who will read the Necronomicon aloud and unleash hell upon the world. So, yeah.
Once.
It happened one time. Just one time. Seriously. So, thank you for joining us. Please, if you enjoyed the show, leave us a review. Click the like, subscribe, share. We're everywhere you need to listen. If you can't find us, drop me a line. If you want to hear us on a different app or something, I'll make it happen. But David's going to try and find us something horrible next.
Yeah. Hopefully by the time Scott is posting this, it'll be in the description below. Maybe even a link if we can figure out how to link it. Don't know. But if we can link it, we'll at least give you the name of the movie we're going to watch. Watch it before you watch our review of whatever we're going to watch, because it's going to be fun.
And if you do, I do notice a lot of our shows that get the most views and most watches are popular movies. Mm-hmm. And we do appreciate that. So thank you. We are going to venture into more popular with our complete take on the Star Wars 9 movies.
No, not 9. Remember, we're going to do Solo and Rogue.
So the 11 movies, yes. We are leaving out the series.
A lot of movies.
All this, we won't be covering the series. We're just going to cover the movies, the actual feature films that we'll do.
We got to sleep sometime, folks.
Yeah.
We can't watch all the series.
But in the meantime, we're going to sprinkle in bad movies. And the reason we do these bad movies is because, I don't know, I have fun watching a bad movie, and we'd like you to have fun. I do like watching
bad movies. This movie wasn't nearly bad enough for me to watch.
No, it wasn't.
I actually enjoyed this movie. There are little things, like I said, the writing wasn't as tight, like you said. I think Christopher Reeves.
Wow.
Christopher
Lee looked a little different without the cape. It was the glasses. Oh, wait, that was Clark.
He took the glasses off and threw me.
And I didn't know who he was.
I didn't recognize him. Christopher Lee, his part wasn't big enough. Yeah. But that's just because it's Christopher Lee. If you're going to use him, man.
Since you mentioned Christopher Reeve, that I have to segue. I have started the second season of Superman and Lois, and I know you. It's a great show.
Okay, I'm gonna have
if you have HBO Max out there, I recommend anybody check this show out, because it's the first season is on HBO Max, and as soon as the second season's done, it'll hit there too. I find it really good. This actor is absolutely amazing as Clark and Superman. He reminds me very much of Christopher Reeve and his portrayal. And it's what I like about the show is it is a family drama with the background of a superhero. It is not a superhero show, even though everything happens. There's more of, geez, how would a superpowered dad handle 2 teenage boys?
Oh, geez.
And boys that are coming into powers. So
they go into having kids.
Yeah, he's got 2 teenage sons.
Okay, now I gotta check this out.
Yeah, all I'm gonna say is the episode I'm on now, Bizarro has showed up. Yeah.
Oh. Okay. And I used to like the series Lois and Clark. I think that was one of the best Superman.
I never watched that. I've heard a lot of good things about it.
Terry Hatch
and Dean Cain, I think.
And Dean Cain. Dean Cain played. I remember when I first started watching it, I was like, I just wasn't sure about Dean Cain. I was like, he's not striking me as Superman. He's not striking me as Clark Kent. But after I watched like a couple of episodes, I was like, I get why they got this guy. I totally get why they got this guy. He is Clark Kent. He is Superman. Yeah. I could see him whipping the glasses off and, blocking bullets at some point.
But it was
nice because it was a little bit of melodrama. It was it was a nice a balancing act for the two of those characters to be in a superhero series without it always being about the superhero.
They've taken the same approach, and it's really good. It's like, I like a good drama, and it's like, oh wow, this is great. Now we get Superman in it, and the actor, I can't pronounce his last name, Tyler something. I just find him perfectly cast.
Oh, cool.
So
that's great.
So good.
Okay.
And
again, now I got another series. Thanks.
Yeah, dude, it's really good. It surprised me. It's like, fuck, this is awesome.
Well, let me ask you, did you want, and we were talking about it right before we started recording, before we watch another bad movie and post it, are we going to watch the Ghost movie that we were talking about?
That will air before this ever comes on. So,
okay.
That episode will air. So if you haven't caught it, go back a few episodes where Dave and I review Ghostbusters Afterlife, taking it to very current because we're both Ghostbusters fans. So, and there will be spoilers. So watch at your own.
Give me lots of spoilers. Lots of spoilers. Yes. You know what? I'm going to just make a little plaque, and you can put up and be like, "This is a spoiler alert, man."
It will be spoiler film.
Spoil this movie like nobody's business.
I've got 2 more movies to watch before that. So.
Right. Okay, that works.
So, rewind, go back a couple episodes. You'll see that we have done Ghostbusters. So, again, thank you so much for joining us on Old Ass Movie Reviews. And we hope to bring some Star Wars and some bad movies. Wait, some of those actually go together. Bad Star Wars movies and good Star Wars movies together. Mary Poppins, y'all. Mary Poppins, y'all. All right, wrong reference.
Blue milk on a water planet.
Not weird at all. Not weird at all.
Not uncomfortable.
Porgs rock. I love the porgs. Okay, so
Ruin Johnson is all I'm going to say.
Ruin Johnson. So make sure you stay with us, and we will catch you next week.
Cheers.